Like everything hurts. Fuck you.
That is what happens. All right. So, welcome to Talk About Pain Club, your tri-monthly tangent from the world around. I am your host, Rick Strohmeyer, and I am the king of Migraine Town.
And I am Matt Hatchers, the queen of Migraine Town.
All right. So, we are, well, that was pretty, until I decided to say it was pretty smooth. That was pretty smooth. So, we are here. It is the last week of April, third show for April. So now next week will be a dead week, and then the week after, first weekend of May, it'll be either the 7th or 8th that we converge and break bread, etc., etc. So, oh no, why is that? My Facebook thing is screwed up.
I was like, you're still alive, so you're fine.
I am still alive, but it's just like, for whatever reason, the Pain Club tab's not reacting. So I'm like, oh, I can't, all that smoothnicity, and I cannot transition it worth a shit. So there we go. Now we're
like
going.
You said, you're king of Migraine Town. So flubs happen with migraines.
26 hours to recover from that piece of shit. Not okay. So anyway.
I'm still salty about last night, but you already heard it.
So, all right. So, Nicole, thanks for helping this be a regularly scheduled thing. We're actually on, I think we're on episode 49, and I didn't make a graphic for this because of yesterday. So, apologies to everybody, but you'll see it in the feed, the follows, and the subscriptions, etc. So, let's blast off in the way we should. Nicole, what are you drinking tonight?
Coffee, because my fucking head hurts and I needed caffeine.
Oh, there you go.
They made it very light, and it's kind of yep. That's all I can say about that. Yep. With light coffee comes milky flavor.
There you go. I had Dr. Pepper and green soda. So there we go.
Green soda?
I'm sorry, cream soda.
I was like, what? I don't drink soda, so you could have just gone with that again with your fucking like. And your finger was covering the word cream, so you literally could have just ran with that shit.
That's the pot friendly brand if that ever happens.
I like that idea.
Like as a political tangent, if ever Big Pharma allows pot to be legalized in the Senate or in the country, everybody's going to make something pot related. Everybody,
everyone.
So
they do it now if they can in the states that they can.
I'm sure they can, but imagine going into like
a dispensary and getting fucking like pot Coca-Cola.
Exactly. Packages of Swiss Miss.
I think I would try Coca-Cola just to say like I had it.
Packages of Swiss Miss with all that good stuff. All right, so let's see.
Green Swiss Miss.
Exactly. Green hot chocolate. All right, so we also we're still sporting the color of the month because it is the color of the month this year color of the month for this month of April is the celestial gray, so a light gray, about 20%ish, and that's all right. So we've had trials and tribulations this week where everything's gone bump in the night and during the day, etc. So, big question, Nicole, what have you been doing lately?
So besides my beautiful, amazing garden, which I have to just like, the coolest Alice in Wonderland shit's going on outside. Like, I'm not even fucking kidding you. There's a tree that's like still left or whatever, and there was this really pretty hyacinth that grew under it, and like I don't know where that came from, but like squirrels, bulbs, whatever. And there's like tall kind of grass like around it, and the other day I saw a rabbit like in my yard, and I was like, oh, that's homeboy that keeps coming through here. That, like, he always is in the yard. He's so adorable. And then all of a sudden I see him like he lets me get real close, and I was like, oh, he must have like his nest or something around here. I go to the front, and at the fucking tree stump, he's making his little nest. And I forgot who said it on my Facebook, but they were like you better like be careful of where like the rabbit like is leading, or he might be late for an important date, something like that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, it's the motherfucking rabbit from Alice telling me to go follow him down a tree stump.
Now you need to make a sign, an Alice in Wonder with the Alice the We're All Mad Here, and put it over his little burrow.
And have a little arrow. Oh my god! Like, I don't know if he built a hole yet or whatever, but like I saw him like picking up the grass and like bringing it over in his mouth and like putting it in and like kind of nuzzling it to make like the nest. And I was like, are there gonna be babies? Like, oh, but besides that, I started working on, because for Murder Bird is doing a Booze and Buddies challenge, and I have that piece, so that's going to be my celestial gray piece, because I couldn't think like which platform do I want to work on this, and I started dabbling on a few other like things, and like started to paint something, and I just wasn't like feeling it. But I knew what I was going to do with that piece. I just hadn't started on it from when he gave it to me, because like the COVID and all that shit. I got it like at I got the piece when we were at the creators event, the creatives event. So like, I got sick right after. I just didn't start on it. And when he's posted that, I was like, perfect timing. So like started with like digging out the face of it so it could have like a dome kind of like cap on it. So I'll be all ready for when we come back to show that motherfucker off. Super excited. But I started putting on a few pieces because I want to have, let's see, how many did I prime black? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I started putting my Sacred Heart, like how I did on, yeah.
Very cool.
And he's gonna be like all jazzed up. I'm sending this back to him as like a thank you, because I bought 2. And
yeah, it's a cool platform.
I'm putting the Sacred Heart on like all this stuff because I did it for why is my brain shorting out, for the Complex Con Blockbuster. And that was the piece that didn't get there, the one that was just like, guess I'm just gonna sit in California and never arrive. And I just like, I was sitting there last week after we like logged off. I'm like, I really, really wish that like didn't happen, because I really loved the Frida design, and then the back of it with the butterfly. But like, until I get a new one of that, I'm not gonna be able to like duplicate it. But I was like, the Sacred Heart is such like a Frida thing, and something that's very like special to like, Catholicism, even though I'm not a Catholic anymore. Like, it was for like my mom and all that stuff. And I have like a few things that are very like Day of the Dead stuff like on her memorial display. So I just started doing stuff like that, and I started like doing my DIY cards and shit like that, because I have a stack of them. Like, they're gonna be like Alice ones, all that shit. But I started like, okay, my brain, when it gets like fucked up, like when I can't like focus on one thing but I want to create, I'm realizing does very well in switching. Like if I start like this one, then I move on to this one, and then I like doing little parts on everything versus like focusing on one thing. Because I usually would not have 5 pieces primed and started with all of that at the same time. And like in between, I started pouring like resin like craft stuff, but like resin shelves. But those are sitting like in there because they're very thick, and you have to do like layers, and it's not a pressure potted resin. So we'll see how that comes out, because I kind of just started fucking around with that to see like with the things I have outside in the garden and all that, like what can I do with like earthy stuff that's not just like the shadow boxes that I used to do and all that. Like what's something different? Oh, let me just add, like, I know a lot of people add like that kind of stuff to their resin stuff, but like they buy it. I have it outside. So like, what can I use at my disposal that will keep my brain like wanting to work? And with like the headache, as you know, it's so hard to work on stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I'm proud of the accomplishment.
There you go. No, I figured that's great. Troubleshooting is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I was trying to. I figured I haven't done any resin casting yet. Well, not yet. And I have this. I got these juice caps that I was going to use for a base, and I think that I'm going to set one up so I can, instead of cleaning up and trying to fill in this, I think I'm going to make a resin or a silicone mold of this. So I'll just cast that, and it'll be way more solid than whatever I'm doing. And I came to that conclusion about an hour ago. So I got to fill
Hey,
it.
at least you did it.
Yeah. Well, I got these little. It's got these weird scallops in there that I need to fill in with something so the silicone doesn't go up in there, but it's got this nice form that looks architectural, and I really dig it. So I'm like, yeah,
it's plastic.
This is where I'll pour it in through. So
do you have epoxy clay?
Yeah, and that's what I figure. I'll put epoxy clay there, and I'll put filler in, and then the epoxy clay, and I probably will drill a hole in the top, since this is the drill, since this is where I'm pouring it in, the whitest part, that then I don't have the physics of it trying to lift up because it's a closed bubble. So I've been watching a lot of silicone mold making guys as of late. I'm like, all right, let's borrow everything that I think I've learned from it. And yeah, so these have to be done. I have to have them done before by May. So I'm like, cutting a little close, but at the same time, it's like I've procrastinated so long already. I'm like, seems like should be a solution.
I don't think it's close, but like for that kind of thing, like it's a good 24-hour, like.
Right. So I figure I'll pour the silicone tomorrow and let the silicone cure for a day and a half, and then I think I have enough resin to cast half a dozen of those, but I only need 3. Really, I only need 1, but I figure I'm going to paint all 3 at the same time. But
yeah, and it's good to have that room for error.
Right. But I did paint somebody. In fact, I painted him last week mostly, and then finished him up and touched it up.
His eyes make me so happy. I'm sorry.
So like, thank you.
I know. I see everything first.
Yeah, that's all right. So let's see if I can do this better. I don't have a big enough sheet of paper. There we go. There. That's even better. So yeah, I painted this last week, and then I finally got around to finishing up the antlers and eyeballs this week. And just a quick little thimble stump hollow. I'm happy with the way everything came out, because it's a little different than what I normally do, but some of it is pretty much like the same. So it's a nice combination, and it came out really slick. And I love the way his eyes look over to the side. So depending on what I put it next to, he looks like he's judging or worrying. So nothing like having a
both are equally relevant to you.
Right. So nothing like having a judgmental toy, like staring at another toy.
Is that the one Alicia said to make?
No.
Okay.
No. Like I've been doing the red panda off and on for, I don't know, a year, but it's like every once in a while, like I hit a slump, and it's like, okay, something from nature tends to be like the slump buster, So like grabbing, like sometimes I've painted like half a dozen koi fish things, or like red pandas, or just anything in nature. Like even if it's not direct, it's like, oh well, the springboard is like if we're watching a nature show and I find an animal colored that strikes my fancy, I write it down in the big old notebook of notes, and it's like, let's do that.
I like that. I have to see if I can find this picture, because you said nature, even though that's literally something that we constantly
And by the time we meet again, I've submitted a proposal for the city of St. Paul for some sculpture thing, along with probably thousands of other artists. And we'll see by next time we talk. We'll see if I got approved for it. I grabbed the in my
Yeah.
proposal studio, I put mostly toys into that because since it's for a sculptural proposal, I was like, okay, well, let's show, and I made collages so you can show multiple sides. I'm like, let's see if I can get show them that I have an understanding of how three-dimensional things should be painted instead of just being like,
Yeah,
so
I like
yeah.
that.
It's like
You're so
it's just
smart.
like, oh, I try. It's just like for the blocks, I would paint something different that's going to be easily transferred onto something flat. So that's the mentality, and we'll see what happens. I just
Just
sent.
keep me posted.
I'm so freaking late to send my stuff to. I just sent my stuff to My Plastic Heart, like for Aaron, so he could take it to My Plastic Heart Thursday, which will be there on Monday, which is great. But
For you, I
me,
know how you feel about
to
that
me,
stuff.
4 days. To me, 4 days early is 3 days late.
Yeah.
If I'm not a week or in advance, I'm late. So
Oh, I remember. That's why I drove
but
it down that time.
my toys for Sauce Drop Toys, my toy for Sauce Drop Toys done. My Clarity piece is done, so everything for May is done, just waiting to be shipped, and that's cool. Like,
When do you have a day off again? Besides tomorrow.
besides tomorrow, I've decided I'm taking because 5 Points got the date for 5 Points got changed to where it's during my summer vacation. I took those days of paid time off and I rescheduled them to be in May. So May 10th through the 13th, I have those 4 days off. So I'm going to show up on Monday to work the hardest day of the week and then just take the next 4 days off. And then, yeah. So that's it.
Not
Like,
when we come back, but I think in 2 months, and like in two, I'll have a different like art challenge to add to our color of the month.
ooh, okay. That sounds great. Yeah. So like, I don't know, when 5 Points date became official, I was like, well, I could take starting from this date, I could take every Monday off. Mondays are typically the hardest day of the week for us because X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I could just take those off and be like, see y'all on Tuesday every day for the next month. And then I was like, no, I could do that on Friday, and then da 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 da. I'm like, no, let's just take that week off. Just come in on Friday. Monday sounds so magnanimous because I'm helping in on Monday, and then good luck. And
now it's at the end of the wait, it's at the end of the month? When is it?
yeah, 5 Points is the 25th and 6th of June. So yeah. And I looked up a different hack for how I want to set up a display because thanks to the elbow being all screwed up, I'm not lifting as much. So I'm like, let's figure out a smaller or a more compartmentalized way of doing display. So probably, let's see, while I have that time off, I'm probably going to go buy the crap to make my display, and I'll set up a beta test in the bottom of the house. So I'm going to set up a beta test over there so I can see how it reacts with the case that I'm going to pick up later on. So
Is the case, are you driving the case in, or like is it going to
yep.
be there? Okay.
I think so I'm going to do the compartmental parts. I'll buy those because they'll be easy to do, but I haven't decided whether or not I want to buy, because the original plan was just to get one of those 4 units by 4 units IKEA cubes and have that in the back and just do that. And now the thought is to not have that and just have one of the 2x4 units stacked up behind, and then have something along the side so that I can actually get out and just utilize some of that side area. Well, yeah, and also utilize some of that side area that almost nobody uses when you're in a
Ever.
straight boot.
So weird.
So I'm like, okay, let's do it this way and see if we can do this. And so because I have one of the 2x4 units right over there, I'm like, okay, I can set up the other part this way and see how it works. And if it works great, then I can buy the other one either right before I leave or order it in Brooklyn and pick it up there. So so that's the thought there. And it's light enough that I can pick it up with 1.5 arms. So
1.5. Well, hopefully somebody will help you. If you need help, just let me
oh,
know.
I'm sure I will find help. But
I mean, I'm
now I
I'm
can.
only like a half of an arm, but it's fine.
I'm picking up the mug with the arm, so that's a positive thing.
That's a win.
That is a win, yes, ma'am. So other than that, it's just like, hey, let's paint. I've got I got that or the that's one that I'm painting like a koi fish. I've got I base coated everything in the beginning of the week of that orca set that Martian Toys has, where it's like that big bulbous little adorable orca
With the little like
with the
sailor
little
hat.
guys on magnetized on top. I ended up painting the orca with a pearlescent white, so you can make him look like a koi fish, and all the other guys on top are all cool colors to add that contrast of having the warm colors swirl around down below, cool colors on top, and they're all just based right now. And I'm like, all right, I'm feeling it. So now it's like, get off my lazy ass and do that. And
You're not lazy. You've been doing lots of stuff.
So yeah, so then like tomorrow, I was supposed to go to that crafter thing today, just to scope it out to see if it's worth it for next year. Didn't get to make it, but tomorrow I get to go to a like a toy swap meet with one of my coworkers, and it's like I don't do much with my coworkers. It's more along the lines of 2 o'clock rolls around, I'm done. Sometimes we go to happy hour. We all go to happy hours, but I've been eating lunch with this dude for like 5 years now, and every once in a while we'll talk about like I'll ask him questions about hunting and fishing because he's a big outdoorsman. And
that's cool.
as of late, and this is like again one of those things like when last week when I was expressing like, oh, that's cool that you do the gardening and stuff. He's such an outdoorsman with his he's a hunter and a fisherman, and I appreciate like all the deer sticks that he brings in and stuff, because like I wouldn't gut a deer. Like maybe if my life depends on it, but like he will. And man,
I'll pay for your venison, but like don't ask me to kill it.
Right, and I appreciate eating it. So like but we will trade notes, or I'll ask him. I'm happy. I have knowledge on the subject, so to be able to go in and get questions answered or ask questions, and he's happy to do it. That's cool. So like when he started going into monster trucks, and his son was born on my birth date. Yeah.
Birthday twin.
Like, so the day is when he left to go when his wife went into labor on the 12th of November, and I said to one of my coworkers, I was like, that'd be hilarious if she doesn't release the kid until tomorrow. He's like, what is that? That's my birthday. Oh, and so like 2 days later, I'm like, I see the guy, I'm like, when'd your wife have him? And yesterday, blah, blah. I'm like, we're buddies.
11/13.
11/13. So
that's my godmother and godfather's birthday too, right? Did I ever tell you that?
Nope.
And I used to think that was like incredible that they got engaged at this, or not engaged, but they had the same birthday. I was just like, like when I was little, I used to think that was like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, oh my God, they're meant to be.
My parents' anniversary is November 12th. And I always love to say that I'm born a day after the anniversary. That sounds so backwards. 10
Yep.
years after 10 years in a day, but just like, yeah. Yeah, so my coworker was like, he was showing me some of his monster trucks that he had a while ago, and we just started getting into the discussion of toys, toy photography, how to display them, et cetera, et cetera. And we've been having this ongoing conversation for about 6 months, and he's showing me these monster trucks that he still has in the blister packs, and I'm looking at the tires and the undercarriage of some of them. Like, have you ever put those under a black light? Oh no, I'll get you one. So
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh,
That
no.
accent was
And
just
I'm like, I bet
perfect. Oh
that's just
no!
me. That's not him. That's not me making fun of him. That's like, I need a voice. I'm like Jim Gaffigan. I just need a voice for somebody, not not the real voice. So he that because that was on a Friday. That following Monday, I gave him a Rick Stroh flashlight, and like a day later, he's like sending me blacklight pictures of his monster trucks, and they look cool. And
He was probably so happy.
yeah, he was like, "Oh, I like we went in here and I showed my guy, and he was all like, wow, look at that!" And we had to go figure out where to take a picture of it in the house and blah blah blah. And he's like asking me how I display my stuff, and so I was like, "Well, when you pick me up, if you want to, you can come see the two setups I have in the house. One's for display in the upstairs, one's for how I photograph stuff in the downstairs."
Mm.
I'm like, as long as you don't mind two smelly dogs. I mean, like, we got I'll show you my primitive ass way of doing it. Oh yeah,
My primitive ass. It's not primitive.
dude, it is primitive. My photo setup is super primitive for blacklight, but it works. So that's the only.
So who cares?
Yeah, I'm like, it's. I call it primitive because it's basic and easy to do. It's like so simple a caveman can do it.
Great, those commercials, and then somebody fucks it up.
Which, okay, so we got a pizza ordered 3 days ago, and
To your house or to your job?
to the house.
Okay.
And Alicia's like looking at the notification that it's coming in. I had no cash on me at the time, and if I did, I would have given the guy $5 more as a tip, because I love because it says who's delivering it. And it didn't have like Joe Smith is doing it. No, Frozen Caveman Warrior is delivering my pizza. So like,
It said that?
yeah, I'm like,
That's amazing.
freaking awesome. And
Just for making me laugh, he would have gotten more of it.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
I would have put $5 more in it. No, at least you're like, I can't change it. But dang it. So
What app was it?
I don't know. I think she ordered direct through the restaurant.
I would say if it's Grubhub, you can actually like message their helpline and ask them to change the tip. Because I remember one guy, he when I first moved to this apartment, there's two Chestnut Streets, and I put the right one in. He just put the wrong, like, I think I don't know, either I fucked up or he fucked up. Someone fucked up. And he actually like came all the way to my house like after he was at the complete opposite end, and like he made sure he came out and like made sure he saw me and everything. And I just thought it was so nice because some people just be like, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
watched. We got ordered Mexican food. I'm pointing all the way off camera. We got Mexican food all the way over, like 6 blocks away. Right, embarrassingly close, but we didn't want to go leave the house, and we watched it go all the way to the outer rim of the metro, and then it's coming back here, and she's just tracking. She's like, "Where in the hell is he going?" And by the time we get our by the time we get our food, it is stone cold. So, and then we're like, okay, you lodge the complaint. Oh, we'll renew it. And then we're like, fuck it, it'll be listed for pickup. We're not gonna have Joe the goofball deliver us another frozen box of food. And
I've had that happen before where they've drove to the other town first, and I'm like, but why?
and like when I first moved up here, I didn't know the territory, Of course not. And let's see, my second summer here, so 11 months after I moved up here, I ended up getting a job at an ice cream shop that one of my buddies at the time worked at. She got me a delivery job. So,
Ooh.
yep, I drove this 70s style van to take tubs and tubs of ice cream to restaurants and outlets like that. Not like I'm not the dingling guy selling out scoops of ice cream. I'm taking it to like commercial places.
Yeah.
And this van had no freaking anyway. So MapQuest was huge at the time, and that's all my boss did. Even for the
Mm-hmm.
regular guys, he would my boss would set up the delivery route each day. You know, oh cool, I've got like this stack of papers that tells me exactly where to go and when to do it. Da 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 da. And then he showed me, okay, here's a list of stuff. It's not here, it's here, and then you just go do it. I'm like, okay. So one day we're short staffed everywhere, and I'm just like, okay, well, he's told me that here's the list here. The guy who trained me showed me how to do Mall of America. I went and did like half my route, which was Mall of America. I did it all on my own. I came back, and then he's like, "Did you do this?" No, not yet. I just came back from the Mall of America route. He's like, "You what?" Yeah. I'm like, I did the Mall of America. I got locked out and I had to push my cart this way. And so I apologized. I went through the front of one of the restaurants. He's like, "But you did the Mall of America." Yeah. Like, I was gonna go with you so you can see how it's done. Like, yeah, Robert showed me. And so the next week he had me do it, and he was just like a lifeguard watching me. I was like, well, I did it this way, this way, this way. He's like, I want you to do it in reverse order from now on. Okay. He said, well, because then he explains that like the three restaurants, two of them are actually owned by the same person. So the middle and the last person were that he in the order he wanted would take the receipt. The first one that the last one I gave to was not associated with them, so they got the bill that they wouldn't pay, but they would pay.
Mm.
Normally they're just not the ones who receive the paperwork.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so I was like, okay. And then when we're getting into the van, or as we're going through the inner workings of the Mall of America, which is crazy, he's like, why did you do it this way? I'm like, because the hallway makes an A and then an N, because it just goes in this weird pattern. I'm like, and if you and the first two businesses, one started with an A and one started with an N. So that's the way my brain said, do it
Mm.
this way, and I can get in and out and then go home. And like, oh,
Yeah.
well, now you're going to do it this way.
Oh,
Okay. And,
Jesus.
a whole 12 weeks worth of doing it, and it was fine. Mall of America is a crazy place to have to fucking deliver stuff to.
I've always wanted to go there just in general,
So
but I
it's
think it's
huge.
very overwhelming.
So like they made you go to a place that's about 100 meters away from the actual parking lot ground, so you can go and do a checkpoint there, and then they give you an initial one, and then they give you a little timestamp card that you have to go to another facility, and they look at your card, they timestamp it again when you get there, then they timestamp it again after they've checked you, because they look for shit, so you're not like they have a little convex
So you're
mirror,
not smuggling drugs?
so or bombs or anything, so you're
Oh,
not
fair.
smuggling
Yeah.
anything that you're not supposed to. And then they timestamp it again, and then you have 2 minutes to get, I think it's two, to get from there to the security gate that's on the parking lot. And if you're late, you have to do it all over again. And so, like, oh, so they would like the first time when I did it on my own. I don't know why we're talking about this, but anyway, when I did it on my own, it's like, all right, I'm gonna ask. And I told the first guy, I'm like, this is my first time doing it on my own. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I was like, all right, whatever. Okay. So now that I told
Better
that
to
story,
ask than to fuck it up and then
right?
be pissed.
Now, all right. So while you've been recuperating and doing all that other good stuff, what have you been listening to this week?
I feel like there's been a lot of silence. Like I'm not even gonna lie,
Oh, that's
because like when my head hurts, but there's a lot of TV like shows that I haven't like watched that I need to catch up on. Like I started like those Marvel Netflix shows like ages ago, and
yeah.
then I never finished them. So I've been finishing like Defenders and stuff like that. But like, God, I'm such a lame ass. Like when I just need background noise, I like to just watch weird murder shows. And I was watching this show called
Research.
Yeah, exactly. Something called Deadly Women, and I was like, this is
Oh yeah.
sexist. But of course my ass is like, I want to watch it. And like it's quick, but they tell three stories like each time, so I could just like let it keep playing through. And then I also watched the John Wayne Gacy shit that they put on Netflix.
Oh.
And I was like, not impressed with you, Gacy. Because it was like a lot of like his tape recorded interviews, and like they were telling like his his psychology and stuff like that, and then like they would play him like talking, and I was like, you weak piece of shit. Like, God, I'm such an asshole. And like it's kind of funny because when we went to the game yesterday, we were walking like underneath like the train to go to the parking lot, like for them to like drink and stuff. And I'm like, everything in my criminal show history is telling me that this is not the way we should be going. Like, this is dangerous. And they're like, what do you do all day? I was like, probably things that are going to make me think that this is like this it's affecting me, guys. It's affecting me.
That's the old D&D times. You never separate from the group, and when you do, that's when you get screwed.
Yeah. And like it was some weird like under the train like construction-y thing. I was like, something's telling me this is not good. It was fine, of course, but like, it doesn't help that my dumbass watches like, 5 hours of John Wayne Gacy, like while like sculpting, and then all of a sudden I'm like, let me take a train. And then I'm like, everything looks like a murder show. So terrible. And then there was some movie on Netflix that I watched. Shit, it was with Sienna Miller. I forgot what it's called. Something of an affair. Story of an affair. I don't know, but the whole time it's one of those things that you're like, I know the answer. That's not the answer. But again, it comes up because I watch the shit. So Netflix is like, oh, you like this? And like they have that 90-minute movie section now that Pete Davidson did that. Like they put that in there because Pete Davidson did like, okay, do you remember on SNL when they had like, I'm on a boat, bitch, I'm on a boat, and Andy Samberg doing so Pete Davidson does like rap songs with like Chris Red and stuff like that sometimes, and they were just doing I'm looking for a short ass movie. And it was like talking about 90-minute movies. Okay. And Netflix said, yeah, they were like, great idea. So they obviously pander to what you enjoy. So it was just like, oh, you like this? Here's a crime movie. But they add fucking, like, for me, they add like those terrible Lifetime movies because they're like, quote unquote true. A lot of them are based on a true story. So I have to look at the title to like figure out like, is this going to make me be like, no offense to Lifetime, but y'all put some cringy shit out there.
No, like I one of the last times I was put into anyway, I was turned on to Mindhunter a few years ago and thoroughly enjoyed that when like new I got a new supervisor midstream. Kind of sounds familiar. Anyway, but she was like, you got to see this. I'm like, what? And I've seen like the thumbnail a bunch of times and like that is no appeal to it. But like once
it's
I got
a picture of a man.
Right, well, dude. It was just like the thumbnail I vividly remember was just like a picture of a road in a wooded area, and it just said in red letters "Mind Hunter."
Oh, that's better
And,
than what I had. I had just Jonathan Groff. I'm like, okay.
and she was like, "No, Mr. S, you got to check this out." And I sat down once. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, is there more of this?" She's like, "No, not yet." And then once season two came out, I was like, "Holy crap, this is great!" And then it's canceled. Um, so
Have you seen Dirty John?
no.
Okay, so it was on FX, I think, and that no, wait, and then no, it was on USA, and then some, I don't know, somebody picked it up, but it's, like real stories but redone. The first
Mhm.
one is with I can't remember her name, Connie Nielsen,
Okay.
the one who was in American Horror Story the first season,
Okay.
and Eric Bana.
Okay. Heck yeah.
Um, yeah, those two are in it, and the first season's called Dirty John, and it's about a
Okay.
guy named John, obviously. And then the second season's called Dirty John. Shit, I forgot what the second, like, but it's about what was her name? Oh, it's called Dirty John slash Betty. So I think like the slash is supposed to be like how American Horror Story does like the anthology, like American Horror Story,
Sure.
colon. Um, and it was about Betty and Broderick.
Oh.
Yeah, and like I've seen like again a Lifetime movie about it with like Meredith what's her face?
Baxter.
Yes, Meredith Baxter,
Jim
and
Gaffigan makes fun of her too. Oh.
that movie was terrible. And but like I was enthralled by, like you can't help but to be like, okay, because it's good acting and it's a good show. You're like, okay, now like this is the story I needed to hear about this. So if you like Mindhunter, you'll really like Dirty John. It's not like the
Okay.
same kind of like twisted shit, but like it's a good retelling of like true shit.
Okay. So, so don't
People
look
are
at.
gonna think I'm a psycho.
No. It's just we got. She's downstairs looking at stuff now, or researching. Um, so I've
That's what
started.
we do while y'all sleep.
So like sometime during the beginning of this week, I had like this Ramon song in my head, and it took like till I got home to be able to flush it out. And I was well before that I showed Alicia this bit I found on YouTube years ago. Again, we rewatched it where Henry Rollins is reading Dr. Seuss, and it's funny because he
What?
break yeah it's a hilarious bit. It's like 11 minutes long, and he's breaking it down page by page about like how a societal view on this dude and the writings of this story. It's amazing, right? And that's the rabbit hole for the week. Like either later that day or later this week or later in the week, I watched one of Henry Rollins stand up routines because it's fucking hilarious. But anyway, so like it's been a great big punk influence this week. So like sometime on Facebook 4 days ago, I asked why is punk the best, and said best answers get shared on the show tonight.
Did I
So
answer it?
not yet. Your answer was I'll tell you at the show, or I'll save mine for the show. So my brother
Okay.
shared a funny meme about punk being old. It just goes to dead, not being dead. It goes to bed. Blah blah blah. I think James Iversofts is the best because, like he says, real punk leaves no room for bullshit. It's a statement, not an essay, and it will always reflect the environment it comes from. It's an audio snapshot, and I really love that idea. Um, Another buddy of mine, Garrett, says it's about sticking it to the man. And our good buddy Jake DeMello, who will be our guest in 2 weeks time, Fat Dad Toys, and also my roommate for uh, 5 points, just
Okay.
says fuck because fuck conformity. And last but not least, so for yours, I'll just share my my photo, my photo partner in crime in the Twin Cities, Jason Anderson, not our good buddy J Folk, but other good buddy of mine, because it is satisfying to say as another 4-letter word. I wonder which one. It has the same punch to it as one of the best lines in movie history. With ends with, "What? Well, what do you say, punk?" So yeah, and I just butchered that while reading it. Sorry, Jason. Yeah,
I like those.
Punkage the best. And then oh yeah, sometime this past week, I was listening to. I think it's a continuation from last week too. The Nutley Brass, Nutley Brass, because they have a couple of cover albums on online, one for the Ramones and one for the Misfits. So playing loungecore music or lounge music punk is pretty badass.
Yeah.
I was just jamming out, and Alicia's like, "What in the hell were you listening upstairs?" And I tell her, she's like, "Oh my gosh." So cool message or mission accomplished. So we have, this month is Autism Awareness Month for everybody, or it's Autism Awareness Month for some people. Every day is Autism Awareness Day, and we are doing a bit every episode of I'm going to do some sign language, because we use sign language a ton in the old autism program as a means of communication, and Nicole is going to guess what they are. And we have I sent her a list of answers, and she's going to do the old mix match now. And we have 2 bonus ones that she doesn't know of, but she can take an educated guess when we're done. So, you ready to go, Nicole?
Let me get the words up. Hold on.
No. You have time to study.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to tell me to. Oh, sorry. Well, because last time I looked at the word.
No, you can look at them. I'm just playing.
So it's funny because I would like to thank your coworker for making you do this.
Giving a buddy a bump. Hey, it's all right.
It's like updating all of okay, there we go. I was like, it's updating all of my chats, and I was like, whoa, where'd it go? Okay, go.
Not cool. All right, let's see. What do we got first? Okay, so the first one, we're going to do this.
Old.
Correctamundo. It's like pulling on an old beard.
Beard.
Old man pulling on a beard. Cool. So we're going to do.
It makes me think of John, because he had such a long beard, and sometimes he would do this.
Okie doke. So the next one, we're going to do this. Oh, there we go.
I gotta look at them. I was like, I remember the last 2. Do it again.
Oh shit! There we go. It's weird because I'm looking at the cam and.
Candy.
Correctamundo. 2 for 2, Nicole. All right, so let's see. The next one, we're gonna do this. You see that? Sound effects not included. I should have sent you more words. So
Magic.
No.
Art. Oh, that makes sense. I don't know why the squiggle made me think of
Imperiosto or whatever.
I had a paintbrush to demonstrate
Harry Pottery.
Yeah, that's I'm not gonna lie, that's exactly where my head went. I'm allowed.
So now we got, I have to get this angled right. I'm not, all right. Here we go. Here's your box. Magic. There you go.
Okay, I was like, my box.
All right, here's your box. All right, so
yeah,
bonus.
Ta-da! I get it now. Okay.
So I have to. Okay, my chair is adjusted.
No, there's no bonus. You didn't do listen.
Oh, I didn't do listen. Oh, well, oops.
Well, now I know it's listen.
Okay,
I
so
was like, wait
listen.
a minute, I fucking memorized the words now. Don't screw with me.
I didn't write the. Okay, maybe I put it in there just to be like, all right, cool. More
See,
options than there are answers.
I'm listening.
Okay, so listening is fun because it's an L, and you put it in your ear and you turn it. Turn it on.
Does it have to be the left hand because that's how, or the right hand because it looks like an L?
So I used to have a kid with Down syndrome, and he went around doing like this all the time. And people would think he's telling everybody he's calling everybody loser, right? Because all right. So I assume, or we assumed, that somebody at home was just making him do this, thinking it's funny. Okay. So yeah, he's calling everybody a loser. So one day I got pissed. And I was like, we're going to do this to you. Now he's telling everybody to listen. And then he would just run around, like, yeah, he's telling everybody to listen now. That's cool. And take that negative into a
You
positive.
switch the meaning. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a bonus one that is not in there. So you have part of the answer, part of the answer by answering questions earlier. So we got this. This one's fun. So we got. Shit, I screwed up.
Wizard.
There you go.
Magic old. I was like,
old, and then got to the point. I didn't even get to the pointy hat. So yeah, old.
how do you
old
do hat?
wizard.
Let me.
The hat, you just go up. So I'm like, yep, exactly. You do the same thing for witch too. You just don't put the old in there.
Okay, so this isn't KKK.
You do the magic old witch. Yeah.
This isn't a bad thing.
Not that I know of. So, and then finally, let's see. We'll do this one. All right. So you ready? If you need a hint, I'll give you a hint. I only have one hint.
No.
Okay.
Twizzler?
One of my favorites. No. One of my favorite signs.
I'm thinking like. Is it more than one word?
Yes.
Is it more than 2 words?
Yes.
Share candy.
No.
Okay.
So close.
I don't know.
So this is deceit. Okay. That's deceit. Look at it's funny. I'll break it down weird. Number of the beast, right? Ooh, yeah, right. So deceit.
Okay.
And candy. It's a holiday phrase.
Trick or treat?
Correctamundo.
Oh, wait. Do it again? No. Show me how.
I just did this for the explanation. All right, you go to a metal concert, rock and roll, right? All that. So you make the because you're flipping it. That's your deceit, and then your candy. So trick or treat. How fun is that, right?
That's good. There's a pair of shoes that I have to send you a link to because I think you'll actually appreciate them. They're for autism awareness at Champions. I actually kind of want them. I was like, even if they weren't for a good cause, I'd be like, oh, I like.
You see, I chose Salvador Dali over autism awareness for a shirt for the day. Bad me. All right, so let's see what we got. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. So we've already done some of the bumps for next time. So we have gotten rid of the homework for this year to replace it with color of the month, which is exciting. It's a little more, I don't know. I think it's a little more, it gives a little more freedom.
Yeah.
For us mainly, because then it's like, cool, Nicole, you spun the idea 3 weeks ago to give us that help. Yeah,
and
so
it gives like such a room, like you said, like a room for like, I don't know, I don't want to shit on our ideas last year because I had fun with our ideas, but like, when I said pick something to work with nature, a lot of us are toy people. Like, I didn't exactly throw like, neither. There aren't all inclusive like color.
Right.
There we go.
So yeah, I mean, I dig it. I think that might be the wave of the future. Um, so we got color of the month, celestial gray, due on next week or next time we go, which will be in 2 weeks. This is not a. This would have been a double dead month if it wasn't for the idea that we had issues at the beginning of the month,
I had COVID.
and that's all right. We all didn't feel well. That's okay. So we got that. And what else do we have at the end? We have Fat Dad Toys will be joining us when we come back
Hell
in May,
yeah.
and that'll be cool. Other than that, I think that's it.
And if hopefully, I'm hoping that my friend in England, kind of like as a teaser of what the next like added bonus. And if anybody does it, ooh, how about that? If anybody like does it, we can send them a slap pack because we haven't done that in a while.
Ooh, I am working.
And I
on
don't
a
expect
few.
many people to do it because it's really like convoluted. My friend is a like metal detector out, like does metal detecting and stuff like that. Out in England, and he sent me a massive amount of pottery, like old pottery pieces and like clay pipe stuff and all that. Because he saw my geometric heart and he was like, something about this told me that you would like to work with that. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Are you
So
gonna
just
put
like
fragments into it? Yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna probably cast something, like cast them with like some cool stuff. And then I'm gonna, because like the hole for my mold isn't very big. Um,
Mhm.
so I'll have to like figure out how to get this like the pieces in there and like settle like properly. But then I'm also gonna like do something cool, like so I could send it back to him as like a gift. But I don't know. My idea is like to break something and use the pieces.
That's cool. That's cool. Why not? Absolutely, why not? All right, cool. Well, tell all these good folks where they can find you.
I haven't been banned on Facebook in a very long time. Oh God, now that I said that. Now that I said that.
The night is short.
And oh God. I watch my mouth constantly now. Anyways, Instagram at the.madhatchers and my website, madhatchers.net.
There you go. I am Rick Stroh at RICSTROH on Instagram and the internet. We do this
The internet.
times. The internet. Well, I still have a buddy who calls it the interwebs. So, number one rule about Paint Club: always talk about Paint Club. See about getting that on a shirt one day. All right. So
we should, because then we could go to 5 Points together with a shirt.
There you go. All right, cool. Nicole, see you in May or later this week. Ciao.
Bye.